Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
It's pothole season, and possibly our worst one yet.
Swerving from potholes can create accidents, it can be tragic.
The city of Edmonton will vote to investigate the decriminalization of minor drug offenses.
Folks who are using drugs, they end up getting arrested, they get a criminal record. Good luck getting a job.
Edmonton's River Valley inches closer to National Urban Park status.
In our city that we could have one of probably the largest urban park in North America.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. Spring is finally here, and that means longer days, warmer weather, and for Edmontonians, a whole lot of potholes.
While drivers don't have to worry so much about icy roads anymore, potholes create safety hazards that experts say are more than just a bump in the road. S.J. Nazal joins us live from the streets of NAIT with more on that story.
Thanks, guys. It wasn't long before these roads were filled with ice and snow. And these unpredictable weather changes are the reason why these potholes are appearing. It is very important for drivers to be aware of these potholes in order for them to drive safely on the roads.
Throughout this winter, our priority has been to clear our roadways and pathways so Edmontonians can move safely to their destinations.
Potholes are this season's road safety hazard, and as they grow in size, mechanics are seeing that more vehicles are being damaged by potholes. It is important to avoid potholes when possible, but sometimes avoiding them can create the concern of collision if a driver swerves into another lane.
Swerving from potholes can create accidents, it can be tragic.
Potholes can cause damage to a vehicle's suspension, bumpers, and wheels, amongst other parts.
Get your car fixed for safety, for your sake, for somebody else's sake out there.
And mechanics say it is very important to get a car towed and fixed as soon as the damage occurs.
In a smaller car, I did have a bumper end up getting cracked as a result of hitting a very, very large pothole, almost a meter in size and diameter. So.
Some Edmontonians believe that driving schools should teach their students how to handle and avoid potholes safely, and an exam should be enforced on all drivers, old or new.
It should be taught, I would say, in driving schools. And given a little bit of priority.
The cost of fixing a car damaged by a pothole can range anywhere between $200 to $3,000. The city of Edmonton encourages drivers who believe their cars were damaged by a neglected pothole to report the incident online, and if approved, they might get reimbursed for fixing their car. Sam also mentions that the cost of fixing cars is actually very high, and students and people on small budgets should try to shop around to find the dealership that would fix their car within their budget, because not all dealerships charge the same.
So, SJ, how can students fix their cars within their budget?
Yeah, so other than shopping around to find the right dealership for you, what students can do is they can request to replace their damaged parts with used parts in good condition. Instead of going with the original price, it'll be almost half off, which will save them more money.
SJ, what can we do to make sure the streets are more safe to drive on?
Yeah, so it's very important that drivers check their vehicles to make sure they're roadworthy before they start driving. And other than that, if you see a pothole while you're driving that you think is big enough to cause a safety hazard, it is very important that you report it to the city through 311 because the city heavily relies on these calls to locate these potholes and fix as many of them as they can.
Thanks, SJ. That's SJ Nazal reporting live outside our news center.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
118th Avenue's crime rate has been going up over the past year, with it affecting local businesses and residents living within the area. 118th Avenue is famously known for places like Northlands, the Coliseum, and the main NAIT campus, but has since become overrun with reports of disturbances and crimes in the area. These instances have gotten so bad that most local business owners lock their doors at 7 p.m.
For sure, yeah, lots, because they break my glass and the door and the window. Just I fixed it the first time, and now again they break in the second time.
There have been multiple reports of crimes over the past months within 118th Avenue. Some of these reports are committed by the homeless populations that inhabit the 118th Road. The opioid crisis continues to affect the city and its residents every day. A new bill in Ottawa proposes changes to the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. City Councillor Michael Jans recently brought forward the exemption for the Drug and Substances Act at City Hall.
Decriminalization of minor drug possession would be the main effect of this exemption. Formal proceedings were set to take place at City Hall this week, but have been delayed until April 11th. Our Ian Tidswell has more on the story.
Over the pandemic, the opioid crisis has only increased. Bear Clan patrols in the neighborhood and has seen a spike in overdoses in the community.
Now, a spring, a year and a half, a year and 3/4 later, and we're doing literally 4 to 5 ODs in a patrol.
Advocates like Chris Galloway support decriminalization as part of the solution.
Folks who are using drugs, they end up getting arrested, they get a criminal record. Good luck getting a job, finding housing. You're left with this extra stigma of having a criminal record on top of this. How do we expect people to get into any sort of recovery if we're treating them as criminals throughout their time there?
Police held a press conference to discuss the issue in Calgary.
While we acknowledge that decriminalization of personal amounts of illicit drugs could at some point form part of an integrated approach to redirect persons who use drugs away from the criminal justice system and towards health supports and appropriate pathways of care, we do not believe the necessary health supports, including immediately accessible treatment services, are presently available for this purpose.
Here at City Hall, the discussion on decriminalization has been moved back to the 11th. But that's just one part of the much broader story in increasing efforts for harm reduction in the city. One thing's for sure is in order to solve this problem, we're going to need many different voices from many different backgrounds. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Ian Tidswell.
NAIT's first ever Sustainability Week aims to educate and promote environmental practices here on campus. Program directors from NAIT were on hand Thursday to discuss goals of bringing sustainable culture to campus. The panel was part of a 5-day sustainability event hosted by NAITSA. Local and eco-friendly businesses were spotlighted on social media, and the screening of an Emmy Award-winning documentary, The Story of Plastic, took place on Wednesday.
So I would say the week is just about what NAIT students can do for sustainability, but also what NAIT's doing.
This is the first week of its kind NAIT has held, with plans of hosting more in the near future. The committee meets every 3 months to discuss initiatives on campus. For more information or suggestions for future events, NAITSA recommends visiting ookslife.ca.
As Russia continues its attacks against the country of Ukraine, the Alberta Council for the Ukrainian Arts recently started a fundraiser for the people of Ukraine. The Edmonton, Ukraine population has been impacted by what goes on overseas. The Alberta Council for the Ukrainian Arts created their own fundraiser that they call Art for Aid. The AUCA sells Ukrainian art to the Edmontonians, and 100% of the earnings go towards helping the country of Ukraine.
Want to reconnect with this part of their heritage. They want to show support by either visually demonstrating that they're supporting the Ukrainian community, or just by buying artwork and things that are made by Ukrainian artists as a show.
As Ukraine continues to defend its capital of Kyiv from the Russian forces, many Edmontonians have been showing their love and kindness for the people of Ukraine by buying up flags and pieces of Ukrainian artwork.
Edmonton's River Valley is moving closer to achieving National Urban Park status. Last week, the federal government announced a pre-feasibility phase of potentially turning part of the city's River Valley into a national urban green space. If the project gets the green light, it would provide Edmontonians better access to green spaces, protect wildlife, and improve trails throughout.
To hear that additional steps that they might take to just enhance our River Valley, I think that would be very much welcomed.
The fact that in our city that we could have one of the probably the largest urban park in North America is really something to be said for that.
At this time, it's still unclear how much of the River Valley will be dedicated to the urban green space. the National Urban Parks Program is working with Indigenous leaders across Canada to protect biodiversity, support climate change, and connect people with nature.
After the break, we take a look at a new conservation center in West Edmonton Mall.
The exhibit features many exotic animals, like a sloth.
We were hoping that there was enough interest from the public that it would turn into being a year-long nature center here.
I'm Adil Ahmed for NAIT NewsWatch. Coming up this week in sports, we check out the women's basketball team here at NAIT advancing to nationals for the first time in 4 years. Plus, we check out the men's hockey team here at NAIT, who are having a chance to win their first ACAC title in 6 years. Plus, we head over to Rogers Place and check out how an Oil Kings defenseman is adjusting to playing hockey in North America. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Julian Schulthaus, and it's officially mud and pothole season, and your streets might look something like this. I'll let you know if we can expect more snow coming up in the forecast this weekend.
That's a really cool shot of the city. Well, it looks like spring is here after that snowfall we got last weekend. But with all that melting snow, we got muddy sidewalks and potholes in the streets, so it's really hard to get around.
Oh, let me tell you, Quentin, earlier this week, I tried to go for my evening jog, and let me tell you, my sneakers did not come back the same color as when I left. Our Julian Schulthaus joins us for the weather report.
Thanks, guys. Of course, you are right, it is mud and pothole season, but that also means it's officially spring, because who has spring without mud and potholes here in Alberta? Nevertheless, I do think Calgary will have the worst of it for mud, as they have some of the highest temperatures this weekend. Saturday will be mostly cloudy throughout the weekend. We'll have a low of -2 and a high of +10 on Saturday. And for Jasper, you still have one last chance to go skiing, although this might be the last chance. Because we will see a little bit of rain and snow mix there in Jasper. If you're going to go skiing, definitely stay closer to the top of that mountain, as the snow will be a little bit more consistent there, whereas it'll be probably a lot of ice closer to the bottom of it. But for the weekend, we'll probably see about a low of -3 and a high of +9. For Fort Mac, they have been very cold this season, and I'm happy to say that they're starting to finally climb out of it. It'll be mostly cloudy throughout that entire weekend. It will be a low of -15 and a high of -3 on Saturday, but on Sunday they will reach +2. For Edmonton, we will see quite a bit of snow lasting for quite some time throughout the weekend. We will only see 3 to 5 centimeters of snow, but it will just be lightly snowing throughout the entire weekend, basically. On Saturday, we will see about a low of -3 and a high of 0. And on Sunday, we will see roughly a low of -6 and a high of +3. The Edmonton averages are about around +5 and -5, so we do like to play with that line a little bit of freezing and thawing, but hopefully it won't last too long, which I don't think it will. And our records are a low of -28 in 1899. Just gets me a little bit shivery thinking about it. And a high of +17 in 1938 though, so I would have really liked to enjoy that spring. Anyways, back to you guys in the studio. Thank you.
Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
West Edmonton Mall is bringing a small piece of the rainforest to our subarctic city.
That's right. And Sloth World certainly isn't your typical petting zoo. Our Noah Rashog takes us on a safari to West Edmonton Mall.
Did you know that sloths spend more than 90% of their lives upside down? I certainly didn't. I learned it here at Little Ray's Conservation Center, a brand new place in West Edmonton Mall that's a pilot project to test and see whether or not they can carry it out into the future.
Although the sloths may be the show stealers, they're far from all Little Ray's has to offer. The brave may see how close they're willing to get to a python, or they may try to tango with a tarantula. Little Ray's wishes to educate animal lovers and average Joes alike a little bit about unfamiliar biology.
That snakes smell with their tongues. And snakes aren't actually that dangerous, and hamsters are more dangerous than snakes.
I have seen a tortoise, and he goes very slow. And that sloth goes very slower than the turtles.
Can you tell me what your favorite animal here is today?
A cheetah.
A cheetah? They have a cheetah here?
No.
Little Ray's is a company based out of Ottawa and mostly operates within Ontario. They've set up here in our West Edmonton Mall as a test to see if their expansion can be permanent. According to the manager, Dell, the crowds here don't lie.
What we had going on here was a 3-month event where we're piloting an exhibit being here with the mall. And we were hoping that there was enough interest from the public that it would turn into being a year-long nature center here. And it looks like that is going to happen. It looks like we are going to stay here permanently. So it's not just going to be a 3-month event.
With the venture so far being a commercial success, it seems that Little Ray's is here to stay. I'm Noah Rashog for NAIT NewsWatch.
Moving on to sports, we now look at a profile piece on an Edmonton Oil Kings player who's helping the team be at the top of the Western Hockey League.
Plus, a few of the Ooks sports teams are on the home stretch of their postseason action. Our Adil Ahmed joins us in studio.
Thank you, gentlemen. While the Ooks badminton team hosted nationals here on home court this past weekend, another team here at NAIT is having a chance to play on the same stage. Despite winning silver in the ACAC finals, the women will have a chance to compete for a national title this weekend at Vancouver Island University, a place that's well familiar for head coach Todd Warnick, who started off his coaching career with the Mariners back in 2001.
When I first took that program to nationals, they were hosted at NAIT. So kind of go full circle, take this program back to nationals hosted there. 21 years later, essentially, over the course of time, it means quite a bit.
The Nationals will go on from March 25th to 27th, with the Ooks' first game taking place against the Champlain St. Lambert Cavaliers on March 25th at 2 p.m. You can catch the game by going to the CCAA's website. The Ooks men's hockey team kicked off their ACAC finals last Friday against the Concordia Thunder, and they're flying away with the series.
Use your telekinesis again to call for those passes, okay? Lots of talk, lots of energy, eh?
The Ooks currently lead the best-of-5 series 2-0 against the Thunder after winning last Friday 6-0 and on Saturday 7-2. Despite the lead, the Ooks are not easing off on the gas.
We need another win. It's not ours yet, so we need another win. And Concordia is a tough team. They have all week to prepare here, so they'll probably make some adjustments. And yeah, we got to be at our best. It's going to be awesome.
The Ooks can close out the series and win their first provincial title since 2016 on home ice tonight at 7 p.m. You can watch the game for free as a student by showing your student ID, or you can watch the game live on ACAC TV. Hockey has been known as Canada's sport for a long time now, but for one player on the Edmonton Oil Kings, he grew up in another country learning it. Simon Kubicek is in his first year with the Oil Kings after spending the previous season playing pro hockey in Czech Republic. Despite putting up career highs in goals and assists this year, the 6'2" defenseman sees the differences of playing hockey in North America and Europe.
Here's a smaller ice, like the size of the ice, so here's like I would say way faster and a little harder than in Europe. And I think I like it more here than in Europe.
You can see Kubicek in action this Sunday when the Oil Kings take on the Lethbridge Hurricanes here at Rogers Place. Puck drop will be at 4 p.m. local time. Now that's pretty much a wrap for sports this week, but I do want to quickly mention that the ACAC announced the all-conference award winners for the NAIT, for the men's and women's hockey teams in the ACAC, and 10 players total from both the men's and women's hockey team were a part of that list, with Jordan Paperny taking Player of the Year. So pretty a great accomplishment. Congratulations to those players. But Quentin, I quickly want to just talk with you about the Oil Kings. I know they're up top in the Eastern Conference, but I know your hometown Moose Jaw Warriors are not far off.
No, yeah, I checked the standings the other day, and they're only a couple places behind, so it could be a potential playoff picture. And if they do meet, we'll have to go check out the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, best of luck to the men's Ooks team.
Yeah, good luck to the men's team tonight. They're going to be taking on the Concordia Thunder in game number 3, so best of luck to them. But now I want to just turn over to you, Brandon. I know you're a big basketball fan, and I just want to know your thoughts about your favorite NBA team to watch this season.
Oh, honestly, I'm going to sound like a bit of a bandwagon fan, but I have to go with the Phoenix Suns. That is definitely my favorite team. I mean, Chris Paul, he's been playing for years now, but he always brings it every single game.
He sure does, and they've been playing fantastic the last couple of years, with obviously them making it to the finals last year against the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's not a bad option there. I can see why you chose them. So, but if you excuse me, guys, I'm gonna go down to the rink and hit some one-timers. All right.
See you guys. Thanks so much, Adel.
Thanks, Adel.
Coming up after the break, we pull back the string and give archery a shot.
If you're trying to channel your inner Robin Hood, check out this week's Try This segment.
I think the fact that nothing is ever the same twice. It's always a personal challenge. You can compete against yourself or you can compete against others.
I'm Jade Muncie. Coming up on this week's entertainment, we fundraise with film. We look at why we love nature so much. And we roll out the red carpet for the Oscars. Stay tuned.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Archery is a great sport for improving your focus, patience, and even your math skills.
Emanuela Osama Diamin looks to hit a bullseye on this week's edition of Try This.
Welcome to Wild's Archery, where you can learn the fascinating sport that can possibly kill you. We started off by figuring out what arm was my dominant arm.
A little bit smaller. Perfect. Now both eyes open. Look at me through that hole. So you're a lefty.
I set out my target, got a quick lesson on how to shoot, and went on my way to give it a try.
I did it!
Yeah, a little bit more. Perfect.
As good as I may look at this, I did miss a couple of shots, struggled a bit, and even broke an arrow. But I did hit the target a couple of times.
Honestly, learning a valuable skill. You're learning to hunt, you're learning a little bit of self-reliance, which is always good to know.
Here are some tips on how to shoot. Always have your arrow under the beak. It helps to give the arrow some direction. Make sure the odd color of the vein is always out. It makes your shot travel a lot more smoother. Now you only need 3 fingers, your pointer, your middle, and your ring finger. Make sure you only use the tips of these fingers. Make sure your arm is straight and there's a good bend to your elbow. And lastly, hold your bow loosely. I'm gonna keep practicing. I think I wanna go pro. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Emanuela Osama.
Wow, what a sport. Honestly, that sport brings me back to when I was a kid. All those days at summer camps when I would used to hit the bullseyes.
Right on. Yeah, archery's got to be one of my favorite Olympic sports. It's a good skill to learn, especially for the zombie apocalypse.
Quentin, is it just me? Or is Canada making its mark right now on the film and television?
You're definitely right. Canadian film and television is reeling with content, some coming right out of Edmonton and others reaching as far as Ukraine. Our Jade Muncie has more of what's going on in the cinema sphere.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ukrainian fundraisers are happening throughout the city, and on Tuesday, film lovers and advocates took over the Garneau Theatre for a night of Canadian-Ukrainian films.
We wanted to find films that really kind of showed Ukrainian culture.
Dancing on Eggshells, the making of Shumka's ancestors and elders, and Don't Worry, the Doors Will Open, give insight into who Ukrainians are.
This film isn't specifically about the situation that's going on, but I think our role, especially here in Canada, is to continue to share the culture.
I wanted to show something that is very underrepresented because I always felt for my whole life, and especially when I was living abroad, that people don't know about Ukraine.
The evening raised over $1,500 for Ukraine war relief. The red carpet rolls out this weekend in Hollywood for the 94th Academy Awards, but viewers don't have to travel too far to be a part of the film celebration. Edmonton International Film Festival is hosting the Oscar-nominated short films now through Saturday at the Landmark City Centre Theatre. Tickets are $15 each. Categories include live action, animation, and documentary.
We kind of wanted to blur the line between documentary and scripted in the way that we approached it and the way that we shot it, and with all the sound and everything. We wanted to kind of give it a feature film feeling, even though it was completely unscripted.
Sunday, the Gurno Theatre will host its live-streamed award night. Guests can dress in their finest attire or as a character to watch the award show on the big screen. Admission is by donation. The carpet rolls out at the carpet rolls out at 5 p.m. and the show starts at 6. A new series for The Explorer and All of Us starts tonight on CBC Gem. Audiences can experience the outdoors indoors with Frick, I Love Nature.
Hi world, I'm Gordy. And today, we're going to learn about nature.
From the ocean to the sky, from geese to ants, Edmonton local Gordy Lucius takes viewers on a learning adventure through the outdoors.
I knew nothing about nature, but I was learning along with the audience so that they could see everything that I'm learning through this fresh-eyed, bushy-tailed idea of somebody learning about it as they learned about it.
You're going to come out of watching the show with a ton of interesting nature facts you can share with people.
7-episode series is available today on CBC Gem, with an 8th episode that will be filmed in the Arctic coming this summer. You know, it's so good to see so much Canadian film and television being just broadcasted all over the world and expanding, just even within the last couple of years or so. It's been really great to see. Quentin, you were with me when we went to the Garneau fundraiser on Tuesday. What did you think about some of those films?
Both films were great. The Ukrainian documentary was extremely well done. And I just saw Riz Ahmed, one of my favorite actors, was nominated for Oscar short, so I'm going to have to look into that film festival.
Yeah, it's so great to see, especially with Ukraine stories right now coming out with everything going on. It's so nice to see kind of how they live in that perspective for sure. Now, Brandon, I know that you are kind of an outdoorsy, active, kind of outside nature guy. What are you going to be up to this spring?
This spring, I'm probably going to go by Jasper or Canmore, go on some nice long hikes, and honestly, I could say from that series, frick, I love nature.
That's fantastic. Well, good show tonight, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Dave. Well, that winds up our show for this week. From all of us at the NAIT NewsWatch team, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in next Friday for a brand new show.
Or you can visit us online at naitnewswatch.ca for updated news throughout the week. Have a great weekend.